Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our regular weekly podcast, Knowledge Empowers. As always, with you is me, Katarina Orchid. 안녕하세요. Then we have Baruch.
Hello, hello, hello.
And we have Kolach.
Dobre ráno. Good morning, everyone.
You did not expect that energy from Baruch, right? It was like, whoa.
That was too loud.
Not to mention, we were just measuring the cameras, how far we are from the camera. So lots of exercising right in the morning. Lots of pumping ups. I think Baruch should put some bloopers in a YouTube, or just a YouTube of a bloopers when we are preparing for recording.
Okay.
Okay, challenge accepted. Anywho, what are our fun facts today, Mr. Collage?
Yeah, so one of them is dedicated to disease, so not really that fun, but actually fun, or rather positive. It's about guinea worm disease, which basically has been eradicated last year. We went from 3 to 5 million cases to 9 in the last 35
cases,
years.
Not 9 million.
No, to 9, specifically 9. So
Okay.
35 years ago, it was really a huge problem, this guinea worm, which I don't know where it's been. It's not here in Slovakia, so I'm not really sure what sort of worm that is.
Okay.
And yeah, so at that time, we've had 3 to 5 million cases a year.
Mm-hmm.
And so throughout the period of time, we've developed medicines, and right now we have 9 cases per year, which basically, based on the definition, we can tell that this disease has been eradicated altogether. So
Wow.
good
Nice.
luck. For the past years, we've saved about 80 million people.
But is it good or is it bad? We are now 8 billion in this planet. And the planet is trying to get rid of us so hard. And we fight so hard. There is this joke, the planet goes to a doctor and the doctor tells, I'm sorry, I need to tell you, you have people. It's the disease. You have people.
Yeah, sounds right. Unfortunately.
Number 2.
Yeah. Number 2 is a small experiment, which has been done with cutlery. So forks, spoons, knives,
AKA silverware in American.
Yeah. Yep. And they were testing the prices, how much you are willing to pay in a restaurant. And what they found out, the heavier the cutlery, the more you are willing to pay for the food.
Makes sense.
The heavier the cutlery, the more you pay for the food.
Yeah, you feel like
the more you are willing to pay. So it's about 15% more which you are willing to pay for the same food as if you had light cutlery.
Wow. Okay.
So,
What's behind? Do you know what's behind?
I don't know what exactly what is it connected to.
Yeah, because we are connecting like heavy cutlery means expensive, rich. I think that's why.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, but I'm not sure where this experience came from or what is the connection there. If there's some misconception or something, whatever. I don't know exactly why, but
I can imagine, because if you have, for example, plastic silverware or plastic cutlery, you are just not willing to pay more for that type of a food. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So yeah, restaurants out there, this is a tip and hint for you: do some heavy lifting. Basically speaking, yeah.
And no chopsticks.
Or get the Korean chopsticks. They use the metal chopsticks.
Ones, yes. I hate those.
Me too. By the way, as we will say for everyone to know, me and Baruch are flying to South Korea. Baruch, are we taking our own chopsticks?
I am.
The beautiful ones
definitely.
that we have? Okay. I need to pack it then. Anywho, today, Mr. Collage said we are going to talk about life script. Actually use way harder words, which I couldn't remember. It's too early in the morning. My brain is not functioning, even though I'm preparing homework. And we have to record ourselves counting from 1 to 100. So I had to write the numbers, and then next to it, I'm writing how to say it in Korean. So, Mr. Kolat, stage is yours.
Thank you. Maybe next time we will have a look how your language memory works. But anyway, this time I wanted to look into, like, in the past episodes, we've talked about transactional analysis and bits and pieces out of it. We've talked about our status egos, whatever we call them, or actually what they are officially called within the books. And then we've talked about our premises, if I'm okay, if you're okay. We've talked about behavioral patterns, the games people play. And the thing is, which I haven't mentioned so far, is a life script. It's basically the definition of all those games, all those I'm okay, I'm not okay. So that's the thing which embodies it all, is the life script that you define how you are perceiving world and what you're expecting the world to be like. So we are just going to dedicate a bit into that. Maybe we are going to talk about your life scripts, if there are any. And yeah, so life scripts basically evolve from our childhood, from our early childhood, when we observe our world, when we have people around us telling us what we are supposed to expect from our surrounding. And we develop these life scripts either through functioning systems or through dysfunctioning systems. So if we are mistreated or we burn ourselves, we've got this experience saved within our mind. The next time something is supposed to happen, we know what's ahead of us, or we are sort of prepared what's ahead of us. So when, your parents come home and there are dirty dishes, which you were supposed to clean, and they are angry because you haven't cleaned them, they need to clean it. You know what sort of behavior to expect from them.
Scolding.
Scolding, for example, yeah. That's one of the possibilities. And so you develop this notion of this is what it is, and you might cope with it. So you create a strategy around it. So you either decide that, okay, this is how it's going to be because this is how they show they love me, or this is how I get the attention from them, or whatever. You create this sort of coping mechanism behind that. So even though it's harmful, it's not harmful because you want to survive, yada, yada, yada. And these life scripts then become sort of self-fulfilling prophecies, because is that you start to transfer it to other situations, not just about dishes. It starts to be about your homeworks. You don't do homeworks at school because you want the same sort of love or attention from your teacher like you're getting from your parents, or that's how you translated it. You don't do your work on time because that gives you then attention from your boss or from your colleagues or whatsoever. And you transfer this life script and so on and so forth, because it becomes, like your pattern of behavior, how you treat the world. And again, it becomes the prophecy which self-fulfills.
I think one thing we need to highlight here is what you said, Collage. Like when parents scold you, like you translate this as, you said attention, but what we are looking primarily for is that attention, and that's how we translate as love, right? As something, even if it looks like scolding. So for us, we take it as yes, this is how love looks like. So
yes.
So that's why we are looking for it, even it looks like a bad behavior. So in the future, when we grow up, we'll be looking for partners or situations where we would have some counterparts doing the same thing.
Yes, exactly. That's the dangerous thing about our coping mechanisms and our translation system.
Okay, so here is an example, and you tell me where there is a love.
Yeah.
It really gets me back when I was little. So the way my mom was teaching me to do the dishes, and it took me sometimes even 2 hours, because I hated it. And so every time when I did the dishes, she came back and she touched every single piece. And if she found that I didn't clean it properly, she put it back, right? So that's why it took me like even 2 hours. And ever since childhood, I hated to do dishes. And then once we were together with my husband, he had to do the dishes. I really hated it. And he even tried like, okay, I will do just 1 week, and 3 weeks of a month, he will do the dishes. That didn't work either. He just didn't touch them at all. Until he gave up and he bought the dishwasher. So show me that pattern. Like, I cannot clean the dishes, but I hate it. Like, I'm like, ah.
So by saying that there is a coping mechanism, it's not always the same coping mechanism telling you that it's going to end up in love. You might have developed a different coping mechanism when it comes to that. Like when you were supposed to do the dishes, and there was this sort of control, you might have developed different coping mechanism, not just that this is the way we are showing love. And for you, you developed a different coping mechanism, which I'm not sure I can identify. I'm not a transactional analysis specialist when it comes to that. I'm not even a psychologist, so I'm not going to delve into that. It would need more of a, going through the memories, going through all the experiences to show what actually developed there.
Pure avoidance.
Yes, this is pure avoidance, but it's for the sake of sanity of me, myself, you, at the same time. And I don't want to now like trash some, transactional analysts and their work. So that's totally out of my scope. I'm not going to play proto-psychologist or whatsoever. I'm not here for that. I'm here to explain the theory only. And I'm hopefully that I'm doing that right.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. So the self-fulfilling prophecies comes from our brain, basically, because when you have experience burned into your brain, basically, your specific neurons are like more connected towards each other, and you are more eager to trigger that than other neurons because it costs you less energy. So that's why it's even hard to go outside of the box or go outside of your learning patterns, because it's tougher. There is more uncertainty. Our brains are not wired for that. So rather than slipping to a new possibility of thinking, we rather slip to our previous ones. Not knowing that is that our expectations then form our end results, which is on one hand good, because if you are getting the same input, you know how to react. The problem is that this actually translates to ourselves, our expectations, and we carry it over to also other generations. And this is how, for example, distrust or placebo, nocebo effects are then transferred to others, because we develop, and I will now call it in a different name, mindset. Life scripts are sorts of mindset, because I create some sort of perception of our world. This is how it's going to work, that we need to be perfectionists, because only then things are done right. I can't trust other people because they are going to betray me. I have this mindset, which I want to reaffirm because it's my mindset. So I will find out people I can't trust so I can confirm my belief. That's why this self-fulfilling prophecy, it's a vicious circle. And these people will eventually betray me so that I can confirm my mindset. And I'm going to tell it to others that people are distrusting. I can't trust people because they're eventually betraying you. And you are then raising other generations with this mindset that you can't trust other people because they're going to betray you.
Can I also translate it in a way that when we talk about how the neurons talk to each other, doesn't this make us more stupid because we are not creating a brand new path? Like, we know actors who are training their minds on a daily basis, and literally the brain as a muscle get trained. They are pushing further or even preventing any diseases type of like Alzheimer, for example. But if we don't do that, but we get into habits of this type of, let's say, created path, and we will not get out of the comfort zone or out of the box, we are not training the brain to something new.
Yeah. So I wouldn't call it that we are stupid. Our brain has several millions years of evolution behind itself. So it developed in a way to help us survive. So this self-fulfilling prophecy helped us to survive and reach the stage we are at. So I wouldn't call it that's stupid because it helped us. It's definitely a problem in certain situations. It's an obstacle because, you know, if we are distrusting each other, yada, 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 and we are moving it to the next generation, we are creating sort of, you know, levels and levels and levels of it. But again, it's something what worked until now. It's something what still helps us to survive because, you know, without this self-fulfilling prophecy, you would still touch the hot plate, although you know it's going to burn because you would be thinking outside of the box. Maybe now that I've warmed it up for 15 minutes in microwave, it's not going to be burning.
No, but you can create it. I'll put a glove on my hand and then I'll touch the hot plate. Right?
Yeah, but again, but still, you've created this, you know, notion that it's going to be hot. If you hadn't that inbuilt, you wouldn't do it. Because there would be this expectation that it's not going to be burning this time. So, you know, it has its meaning, it has its purpose. It's about us that we need to be aware to what is the certain level when it's useful and when it's not useful. Like, okay, so when it comes to, you know, expecting something from, you know, being hit by a bus versus distrusting a newcomer within company or my boss or whoever there is, my friends or whatsoever, that's where you need to leverage what is good and what is bad when it comes to the expectations. And the same goes for your own mindset when it comes to, for example, perfectionism, to don't trust anyone, or don't be a child, boys can't cry, you know, which is kind of counterproductive. The same goes for the perfectionism, being strong, please everyone, you know, like everybody needs to be happy around me. Because that's my value, that's who I am, that's how we move forward. So all these mindsets could be dangerous right now or later on. So to sum it up, think about your mindsets, about your life scripts, your unconscious thoughts there, which are there, like being busy means that I'm good at work, and it's up to you to decide whether you want to disrupt them. And again, go through all those, okay, trying to expose myself to new behaviors, to think about whether I'm okay, I'm not okay, or what games actually are there which are confirming this mindset of mine. And that's it.
So what's the recommendation?
This time I want to recommend a series, a TV series done by Netflix, I think. No promo. It's about the actor Chris Hemsworth going through a series of challenges, 8 of those. 9? No, 6. 6 of those. Yeah.
9, 6, 7.
6. Who gives more? And Chris is actually challenged in various types of exercises which can prolong his life. So the episode goes about, the first episode is about stress, how to get rid of the stress and anxiety, or how to lower it within our lives altogether. The other one is about shock, how to deal with the shock. So he's swimming there in an ice cold water. Next one is fasting. Then there is strength, muscle strength. Then there is memory, and there is how to deal with aging and death itself. So this series gives you insight from the, you know, actor's perspective when it comes to that, because Chris is actor and, you know, he's undertaking these challenges. But there is this aspect of the science thing behind it. So also they explain why this is helping you to not age that quickly or postpone aging. But at the end, the last episode, which is really strong for me, that aging is inevitable. And also Chris is trying to reduce the aging on himself, but again, they're exposing him to aging itself and death itself. So that he knows that it's going to happen, whether you like it or not, and you should be aware of it. So it's a really nice series, full of science facts, full of drama, and also the challenging experience there. I recommend. Good watch.
감사합니다. And with that said, I'm gonna say 수고하셨습니다.
Thank you. Bye. Ciao.
This podcast represents our own opinions, experience, and our own ideas. We do not represent any official statement from our employers, and this is not their official channel representing the company.